after your exam, okay? Keep it for grade 12 applied, because this is coming back in grade 12. Okay, so on page 42, we're gonna determine quadratic regressions. What does that mean? It's basically determine equation from points. Okay, so you're going to be given points, or you might have to come up with the points yourselves, and then we're going to come up with the equation that works for this scenario. Okay? You need at least 3 points. Okay? Otherwise, this is not going to work for you. All right. So a bunch of steps here. Step number 1. Enter x values into L1, and the y values are going to go into L2. And to do this, you're going to press Stat. That's a button you press. And then you're going to select Edit, ... And I need to tell you what, in general, what you are expecting. You might get a table like this, a vertical table. Okay? No exceptions whatsoever. The first one, we're always going to assume are our x values. The second column are the y values. We put all the x values into L1. It's basically going to be an Excel spreadsheet. You'll see that in a bit. Y goes into L2. If you have a horizontal table, which you will encounter both, okay? If you have a horizontal table like this, then the first row is all of these numbers go into your x, and the second row go into your y slots. And again, I make everything that's in x go into L1, and everything that's into y goes into L2. This is just an aside. I think after a while you're just going to know what to do, okay? So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is turn on plot 1. Okay? Basically press y equals to get there, right? Highlight plot 1. This is just an aside. That's how you would turn on plot 1. Step 3. I'm telling you there are a lot of steps, guys, okay? But you're going to, after a while, it's just going to be so natural, you're not even going to think about them anymore. Step 3 is press zoom. Right? You press that zoom button, and then you're going to select zoom stat. You'll notice that statistics is like the main theme of this whole operation. You're going to press the stat button, you're going to use zoom stat, all of those things. You should now see, a scatter plot. Scatter plot. So for example, you might see something like that, and you're like, oh yeah, that looks like a parabola. That's a scatter plot. So you're going to see the points that you've entered into L1 and L2, they're going to appear on your screen. It's going to zoom into those points. It's pretty cool. Step 4, choose quadreg. Choose quadreg. How do you do that? You press Stat. You're going to go to Calculate. And then quadreg. Let's do it. All right. 5. You should now see, you should see quadreg on your home screen. Okay? But we need to feed it some more information. We're gonna tell it to go to L1, make a big comma, it's actually a button we press. We're gonna feed it L2 as well, because we have points in L1 and L2. And we're gonna tell it, once the equation has been made, to store it into Y1. And let me add, I'm adding to this here. L1, you press second, right? Second, and then button number 1 to get L1 to show up on your screen. For L2 to show up, you go second, followed by button 2, number 2. And the last one, you're going to go alpha, press alpha, and then trace. And then you're going to get that. Yes, a lot of buttons, I know, but you're going to be masters of it at the end. So quadreg L1, comma L2, comma Y1. Those are the entries we need to provide quadreg with. And I'm going to highlight the commas, right? These are actual buttons. They're not just random commas that I put in there. There's a comma button. Okay? Looks like a 9, right? A music note or something. But anyways, just giving you a heads up, there's the comma right above 7. There's a comma button, so we're going to press that button, okay? Now, press enter. And write down equation. Okay. And last but not least, graph. Press graph, press that graph button. Curve should go through most, if not all, points. If one is way off, if you notice 1 point that is way off, check L1, L2. Like you're gonna have to go back and check. Wait a minute, why is this point way off? Oh, I forgot a negative when I entered it. That's why it's way off somewhere to the side. When you see your curve, you should see the points kind of all being close to the curve. Okay? Yikes, right? I know what you're thinking, yikes, but fear not, we're gonna get you through this. So, we're gonna practice on page 49. We're gonna walk through this together. Not 49, 43, what am I saying? Are we done copying? Okay, I need to make sure we're all ready for the next step. So 43. So we're trying to find the line, the curve of best fit. The curve of best fit. Because data in real life is not perfect. If you were to launch something and keep track of the time and the height, it wouldn't always be perfect, right? Like we would be like, let's throw it and let's gather our data, and all of a sudden we would just put that all in and I try to find the curve that best describes the situation. For us, most of the time it's going to be perfect, right? But in real life, it isn't. So let's go to 43. This scary part right here, the top half, I kind of just right now summarized it with what you wrote down, and I think it's better than this stuff. There's too much happening here. So we're gonna go to this part right here, the bottom half. It says determine the quadratic equation that best fits the points, these ones here. No surprise, the first column is x, the second column is y. As part of your work, you're gonna tell me you're putting this into L1, you're putting that into L2. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Just follow me for now. So what do we do to make that happen? We go to Stat, press the Stat button, and you select the first entry, which is Edit. Okay, Stat, and then Edit. You should see L1, L2, L3, right? You see that? Okay, go to the very top of each column. Go to the very top, L2 for example, and hit Clear. Press Clear and then hit Enter. And it will clear all the values that are in that column. Go to L1 all the way to the top, hit Clear, Enter. If you press Delete, you're going to get rid of the column. Then we have a problem. Do we all want to, let's all make that mistake because it's going to happen. I can guarantee you it's going to happen to some of you. Go to L2 to the very top and hit Delete. Uh-oh, L2 is gone. Don't fear. You kind of want to go back to Stat, press Stat again, and you want to go all the way to the last one, Setup Editor. Just hit Enter and then Enter one more time. When it says Done, it will have reset the L1 and L2 in all those columns. So press Stat again. Go back to Edit. Edit is where you actually enter your values. And there's L2 should be back at this point. Okay? I will help you out if that happens at first. Now let's enter these values. We go -4, enter, -1, enter, 2, enter. So you've got your 3 values there. Don't use minus, you have to use negative. Go over to the second column, L2, and we're going to go -5, enter, 2, enter, 1, enter. And they should line up. If they don't line up, you missed a value, it's going to give you an error message. So this is step number 1. Okay? Step number 2 is to press y equals. Let's clear all the equations that we have in there. I don't want anything in there right now. But it is important to turn on plot 1. Go to plot 1 at the very, so you press y equals, you go to the very top, plot 1, turn that on, highlight it, hit enter. Okay? Now, we're going to hit zoom, and we're going to go zoom statistics. Zoom stat. Hit enter. Do you see these 3 points on your screen? Yeah. So it's zoomed into the point. So that's the nice thing about zoom stat. Okay. Now we're going to find a parabola that makes that work. Okay. So we press stat, calculate. You're going to go sideways to calculate. So you press stat, go to calculate, and quadratic regression is the 5th option there. Cubic regression and all the other regressions, that's next year in grade 12. Okay? We only do quadratic regressions in this course. So hit enter. You should see this on your home screen. Now we got to feed it the 3 things, which is what? L1, right? Press second and the number 1 button. Second number 1 button calls L1. Got it? Comma, press the comma button. Second L2, right? Second 2 to call L2. Comma. Alpha trace to call Y1. You can put it into any of the Y's that you have for graphing purposes. Most of the time I'm going to plug it into Y1. So just hit enter right here so that Y1 shows up there. Okay? You might have to do this one more time after. I press enter at this point. And there's your equation, watch. Right? It tells you, oh, this is a quadratic. A is going to be this, B is that, and C is that. Okay? So you write that down. That's you. So this is the minimum that I expect you to tell me in terms of keystrokes. Stat, calc, quadratic regression. That's it. Those are your keys. And then we're going to write down our equation. Okay? Round it to 2 decimals. If you have to round it to 3, that's fine. But don't have a 0 in front of x squared. Never have a 0, okay? So this would be what? Negative 0.44 x squared. That's what A is, right? B is positive 0.11 x. C is positive 2.56 if you round it to 2 decimals. Okay? And it's this equation that we're after. This is the equation that will model the data that we've entered in. But now the best part is graphing. Okay? This is where you verify whether or not you are doing things right. So hit graph at this point. And there's your curve. Is it perfect? I would say almost. Yeah, it is. You see x-intercepts, you see the vertex, and you see the y-intercept. So technically we're good. Okay? But you can change your window at this point. You can do whatever you want at this point. Okay? And do you notice that it goes through the 3 points, right? So let's say, for example, you don't have to do this part. But let's say I typed in, instead of -4, I typed in 4. Okay? And then I hit graph. That point isn't even showing up on my screen right now, that 3rd point. So technically, it is somewhere over here. It's not on the line, right? So you got to watch out for that. If you see that, you got to make sure you go stat, edit, and you check those numbers to make sure they are where they're supposed to be. Okay? Can you now find the x-intercepts, the y-intercept, the vertex? Absolutely. Now that you have the equation, it's just like back to where we started, okay? So for now, I'm going to ask you to ignore everything else. I just want you to come up with the quadratic equations. Can I just do one more here on 44 before you start working at this? Go to 44, and this is just a graph. How many points do you need minimum to make this quadratic regression work? Do you remember? You need at least 3 points. I have 1, 2, I need another point. So let's write this down. X and Y. We have 0, 3. We have -7, 27.5. How could I possibly get another point here? I don't want you to guess. I want you to use symmetry. Do you remember the axis of symmetry? Remember that one? The axis of symmetry is right here. And so I want you to think of it as that's the middle. Let's figure out the cousin. I call it the cousin that's right across on this other side here. Let's use a red pen for that. I'm going to use blue for the line across. And I'm going to make an arrowhead going, like there's a way to get this point right here. What's the y value going to be of this point right here if it's exactly across from this side? 3, right? And what's the x value going to be? Let's try this. From the y-axis to here, how many units are we talking about? 7, right? This is 7. And this is going to be another 7. From the middle to that side. So this would be what? -14. -14, 3. Just by using symmetry. So this is the third point that I'm going to use here. -14, 3. And I want you to recognize an important pattern here. Oops, this is all crooked and sideways. Sorry, guys. Too excited. There's something about if you are able to go from this starting point to the vertex. This is your vertex here. If you notice, hey, from here to the vertex is 7 units, so -7. It'll be another 7 to get me back to where I started, the same height that I started. That's like a property of symmetry. So you need 3 points, right? So need 3 points. Given, figure this one out. This one goes into L1. This one goes into L2. We go stat, calc, quadreg. I'm going to ask you to try this on your own. Can you figure out the quadratic equation for these 3 points? Figure it out, please. Go through the steps if you must. I'll walk around for a bit. There are going to be shortcuts down the road. You don't have to follow every step every time. You'll figure that out pretty soon. Like turning on plot 1, for example, you can skip that one, right? Let me just do this. 0, -7, -14. No, wrong. Let's try that again. Here we go, stat. So this is the cheat number 1. Okay, here's your cheat. Remember, you can go back in history. You can just go to the last time you performed a quadratic regression, just copy paste and run that, and it will do it for you. So you don't have to go through all the steps of quadratic regression, L1, L2. Like, you can skip that. But if it's still good practice to have that. So this equation ends up being that. I'm going to hit graph. Why is mine not working? Because I didn't do the zoom stat thing. Zoom stat needs to be pressed so that all the points show up on your screen, and mine works just fine there. Okay? Your homework is going to be, let's go to 45, I think 45, 46. 45 to 47 is your homework. 47 has some domain and range review based on a word problem, okay? Your main goal, guys, listen to this part. Your main goal is to be able to come in tomorrow, and if I give you a bunch of numbers, a table, I need you to go equation. Okay? That is your task for tomorrow, to be able to do that. If you think you need extra help, come and see me at lunch.